a Sports Network production. Now to your host.
Hello, motherfucker, and welcome to another edition of the 7th Inning. Yeah, I don't know why, but every time we do this, or at least the last couple of weeks, your camera has been behind too. Like you're kind of shoddy. I don't know what it is.
I think it adds character.
Yeah, it does. It's like, anyways, it's stop motion here. Well, anyways, my name is Logan Stone, and I'm your host as always. And with me, as always, is my co-host, my best pal on here, because I have no friends. And it's really sad that Josh is my only friend because he's not. No, I'm kidding. Josh, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I am ready to rock and roll and cover our topic this evening. And I am excited to have our guests, Daren and Tyler, with us from Fat Boy Fadeaway.
Yeah, Fat Boy Fadeaway. Daren, we had on Friday. I'm glad that we didn't scare you off.
Nope.
And Tyler, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me.
You excited? Are you? Okay. I gotta say, I listened to y'all's podcast and I was like, okay, they're gonna talk about how crazy I was, and they're gonna be like, okay, we probably need to distance ourselves away from VSN because of Logan's psychoticness. But I loved how you said, yeah, it's interesting, it's different. I was like,
I kept wanting to chime in from not being I couldn't talk, but because I wasn't part of it. But every time I listened to the whole thing, it was really good. It was interesting. Yes, we're entertaining.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was very good. I was impressed.
Is there something that you want to talk about the AL that you would like to touch on that you don't think we touched on, or?
No, you guys did a good job. I mean, I would have ripped on the A's a little more for Daren.
Yeah, I figured you were.
F you.
Yeah, right. Well, anyways, before we get into the NL, so on Friday, the news broke that Fernando Tatis got suspended 80 games. I had some thoughts on it. Daren had some thoughts on it. Tyler, I know you guys kind of touched on it on Fat Boy, but what were your thoughts on it, really?
I mean, I'm a big Barry Bonds fan, so I'm gonna always hold this against people because my favorite player of all time it's been held against him forever. So the whole it'll go away. It'll never go away for me. No. So I don't know. That was just my thoughts when Daren brought up the whole he's young and he has the whole career ahead of him.
Yeah.
I just won't forget.
And I was listening to y'all's thing and I was thinking about it, and I was thinking the same thing with A-Rod kind of happened. He got busted early, and then so I'm thinking that Tatis is going to have to be a saint the rest of his career. He's going to have to not have any other blemishes on his record. Otherwise he's going to become a villain like A-Rod did, and he's going to kind of show up or play into that a little bit, and that's going to hurt his career. Did you guys see A-Rod's comments on yesterday?
No, what did he say?
I did not.
He said he regretted doing steroids, and he said, I wish that Tatis had learned from my mistakes. He said that he believes that the steroid thing kept him out of the Hall of Fame. I'm like, well, I think being a complete dickhead was what kept you out, but whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that and then also there was all these other comments, and let's see. So Juan Soto said, "It is what it is. We're all humans, and we make errors. So we're not perfect. At the end of the day, it happens. Whatever happens, happens. We've just got to move forward." He's the newcomer, and he probably doesn't want to start ripping into people. But Manny Machado and Mike Clevenger, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
They really got into him, and they were like,
and I feel like they should Logan get into him though a little bit.
Yeah,
They just he deserved it, and the fact that his teammates said it. You sent me the link the other day. I kind of chuckled when you sent it to me because I was like, they're probably because they're just pissed about it, and they're probably just like, screw you. We already gone this without you. That would be my mentality too, right? If I was actually playing the game, I can't worry about him anyways. I'd just be like, forget him anyways. He messed up, and he's gonna have to do quite a bit. I still think my theory of him making the Hall of Fame exists. He's young enough, but we'll see what happens.
Why does that matter though? If he's young enough, he's still.
I don't know. It just matters to me because baseball is such a hypocritical sport with the writers.
Because people forget easily, and so it's just. But I will say, I like Mike Clevenger. He said, like, I hope he grows up and takes responsibility. And what was it, Manny Machado? Listen, Manny Machado telling someone to quit being a child is like, it's bad. This is coming off the motorcycle injury, and to his teammates that was stupid, and that was very not putting the team first and being kind of selfish in a way. And also, if you think back to last year, there's a lot of people who blame Fernando Tatis for the Padres collapse last year. I mean, there's that big blow up between Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis at Busch Stadium, actually. And so I think I have a prediction, and I was telling Brandon, our CEO, and Josh, I said, I have a prediction on Monday, and I didn't want to tell them yet because it was going to shock them, and I wanted to see their responses, and I want to see y'all's responses too. I believe that within the next 3 to 5 years, Fernando Tatis Jr. will be traded. I think that Machado, and if they want to get, I think it has to happen before Soto signs a contract if they want to keep Soto, because I think they would rather have Soto than Tatis, just because Tatis has been such a problem for them the last couple of years. And I don't know. That's my idea on it. Do you guys think I'm so crazy? Do you think I'm?
No, I think you're on point for it. I wouldn't be shocked, but I hope that, like you said last week, like St. Louis Cardinals fans would want Tatis on their team. I hope he comes to the Giants. They could use a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be like a Nolan Arenado trade, though. Tatis is going to have to, or the Padres are going to have to shove it like $100 million in there, I'm sure.
I mean, the Giants have the money; they just don't spend it.
Yeah,
we'll get into them later.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get into the Giants. I have a couple of things about the Giants right now. But Josh, I know you're just itching to say something.
So I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
This is something that you and I actually kind of agree on. With them wanting to sign, they're going to want to sign Soto to a long-year deal. If they're going to keep Machado and keep all the other players and continue to build the way they're doing, somebody's got to go. And in my personal opinion, if I'm a GM, I'm trying to ship him out before the start of next season and get rid of him.
I don't know if
the money off the roster.
Yeah.
You got to remember, though, Logan. Remember, I'm a character guy. I like guys with good, upstanding character that are good to the community. And while Tatis is young and he can mature and grow out of this, I don't know if this is something I'm willing to risk paying for the next decade or so and dealing with the problems he creates for himself. I mean, I mean, I think your prediction's good. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone before the deadline next year, especially if he doesn't come back after the 42 games he's going to miss at the start of the season and perform insanely well and put up nearly MVP numbers. If he comes out and he's not serious, he doesn't look to rebuild his image as a mature, grown, responsible young man who's getting paid a lot of money to play baseball, and he's not even playing the game, if I'm a GM, I'm looking to ship him out if he doesn't have his head on correctly and out of his rear end. But I don't think it's improbable what you said, actually.
The Yankees would love that. They would want – well, I mean, they wouldn't like him using PEDs and, being injured, but they would want that sass that he has. Also, it'd be nice to get rid of.
To me, it's just going to be forgotten once he hits 35 bombs. Like, is it?
Yeah.
It's just like it's not going to matter. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like,
Padres
what?
are going to be stupid if they trade him, in my opinion, unless what you guys say, unless he starts having more character flaws. I understand the bike accident and stuff like that, but I don't think that's going to keep the Padres from the 35 home runs that he's going to hit and the 110 RBIs.
Well,
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me, it's more like they want to. I mean, if it's a choice between Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis, I think Juan Soto is the one.
So, yeah.
If they have that problem, I don't even know if they really have that problem.
Keep the ball.
But I don't know if they can pay $1 billion for the next 10 years for three players.
True. That's true. That's true.
Anyways, one thing I wanted to touch on also before we got into the NL is today is the 10th anniversary of King Felix Hernandez's perfect game. I don't know if you guys remember where you were at, but it was a weird day for me. I don't know why, but I was home from school that day, and I was flipping through the MLB, TV thing, and the Seattle Mariners were playing, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch this game. I was like, I don't watch the Mariners enough. And I watched the whole game, and I'm like, oh, he's throwing a perfect game right now. And anyways, that was really cool. It was the first perfect game I ever watched on TV, and it was really cool. Do you guys have any special memory with this game or not? Or
I was working, so no.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I remember I turned it on and I watched 3 outs and then turned it off, and then an hour and a half later is Felix Hernandez threw a perfect game, and I just hit myself. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't you just watch the game?
Yeah, right.
That was my moment for that perfect game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, I only caught the end of that one. There's other perfect games, like the Kane one I remember more, obviously, and the Dallas Braden one on Mother's Day. I remember that one that he had, as the A's guy. So, but yeah, it's crazy, 10 years of that perfect game. It's funny for me, out of all this, we had this on our discussion on our podcast a few weeks back. Tyler probably remembers this. To me, out of baseball is a big stat thing, and this tells you that this is the hardest thing to do in all of baseball, because look at all the years played, and there's only been what we say, you said 26, is that what you said, or something like that? So to me, it's the hardest thing to do in all of baseball. It's crazy to me. That's in 10 years without seeing one. That's nuts.
Yeah, and there was 2 that year, right? Yeah, it was Matt Cain and Felix.
And that guy from the White Sox threw one too.
Oh, no, Mark Burley.
No, wasn't it
Jim Joyce made a bad call at first base.
Was that a perfect game?
It was a perfect game, but it would have been if there was a replay, it would not be that.
Yeah. I forgot that was a perfect game.
Yeah, who?
Jim Joyce still gets kicked in the balls for that one too. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. And he was crying the next day. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, but yeah, good job, King Felix. I realized that he's been kind of retired last couple of years, hasn't played since 2019, 36 years old. I was like, oh, he's actually retired. Anyways, but yeah, good job, King Felix. Okay, let's move on to our National League teams. So last week we did the AL. Not very shocked by a lot of things, but anyways. Now we're gonna go ahead. Worst to first. Washington Nationals, 38-78. Oh my gosh. 248 batting average, which was 12th. 315 on base, which was 15th in Major League Baseball. 689 OPS, which was 23rd. 530 ERA, which is 30th, and 148 WHIP, which was 29th. I have no players to look at because the Nationals are shit. So,
fair point.
So, look, we weren't looking to get anything from the Nationals this year, but we did not expect them to be this bad. We thought really the only trade piece that we were going to get was, or that was going to be a part of that team was going to be Nelson Cruz, and he's the only one who didn't get traded. So, which is, well, I guess because he's having a down year. So that's disappointing. So yeah, I give this a middle. It's whatever. The Nationals, I wasn't expecting them to be the worst team, but they are, and it's because they dug themselves into they gutted themselves, and they dug themselves into a hole for giving Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin a shit ton of money and deferred it all. Anyways, Daren, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thumbs down. Obviously, it's disappointing. I was hoping the A's would have the worst record in the league, but the Nationals are doing their best to make that not happen overall.
Listen, the A's can still get the number one pick. They have the lottery now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the stupid lottery, baseball in their draft stuff. The Nationals, man, like they are. I thought they would just be a little bit better. I thought record-wise they'd just be a little bit better. I mean, gosh, and when I say a little bit better, I mean like 8 more wins, maybe nothing crazy or something like that. So, I mean, like you said, they gutted their whole team in the 5 years. It's pretty crazy just to think about. I'm a basketball fan, so I compare them to the Oklahoma City Thunder of NBA there. So that's always my comparison to the teams there. So, big disappointment, I'd say, if you're a Nationals fan. But they got their World Series.
I remember when the Thunder was good for about 5 seconds, and then the best team in basketball, and then all of a sudden, Tyler.
Go on.
I'm a little surprised they're this bad. I thought Soto would be on the team after this year, and Soto was having a down year before he got traded, and still demanded what he got. To me, the most intriguing thing about the Nationals is, from the World Series to where they are now, they had so much young talent. Not just talent like older guys. They had young talent, and it's all gone. And for what? That's my biggest It's just crazy. So they get a big thumbs down from me, just for the last 3 years or 4 years how they've run things.
Yeah. Joshy Poo?
I give them 2 thumbs down, actually.
Really?
I mean, we knew they were really bad, but this is unacceptable in my opinion. 37.5 games back in their division alone. Now the Mets are 75-40, so I mean that plays a little bit of a role, but
it's not helpful.
I mean, at this point in the season, you should have 50 wins.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they're
be
so far away from that.
Oh, I was gonna say you'd be surprised by how many teams are actually under 50 wins, and we'll get to them in a second.
Right, they're coming real quick, but I mean, it's pitiful, man. It's next.
Yeah,
that's how pitiful it is.
Yeah,
thumbs up to that, John.
Good call.
Yeah. Next is the Pittsburgh Pirates, 45-70, 221 batting average, which was 29th. 289 on base, which was 28th, 652 on OPS, which was 28th, 463 ERA, which was 26th, and 143 WHIP, which was 27th. Player I wanted to look at was David Bednar. He had a lot of things, or he was kind of making some, splashes in Major League Baseball earlier in the year. 40 games, 46 innings pitched, 270 ERA, 156 ERA plus, a 250 FIP, and a 107 WHIP. They're a shit team, but they have really good players. Brian Reynolds, Brian Hayes, David Bednar, like I just said. They got some good pieces.
The shortstop's name.
They just
O'Neal Cruz.
Oh yeah, O'Neal Cruz also, who's looking to be a big piece later. I mean, they just need to buckle down and get some guys. They got to spend money to win a World Series, and they just don't ever seem enticed enough to do it. What do you guys think?
This is as expected for me. I have no faith in the Pirates ever doing anything.
Yeah.
They're just bad. They just are always bad. Since McCutcheon and Marte came up. After that, I don't know when the last time they put any effort into putting a winning team on the field. So,
yeah, you look at that team, that outfield in particular, I mean, it was McCutcheon, who was MVP, in those 2 seasons or 3 seasons, I think it was 2012 and when they had their first ever winning season in like 20 years.
Yep.
And then 2013 they had a really good record, and it was like the
Brandon
Cardinals
Crawford hit a big grand slam to send him home in the wild card game. I remember that one.
Was it Brandon Crawford?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought that. Why did I think it was the Reds who they played in?
Posey had a grand slam against Matt Latos and
Latos. Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't want to talk about 2012 now.
Oh,
anyways,
you want to bring up the Zito game?
No. Oh, don't. The 2014 actually stings a lot more, but because Agashioka was his name, or Ishikawa, that was his name. Oh my gosh. Anyways, this is not. We're talking about the.
You're bringing up like prime moments for memories.
Yeah.
Daren's 2000 over here.
Yeah. Anyways.
Can't stay on camera.
But yeah, they had such a fall too, like Pedro Alvarez and anyways, but whatever. Daren.
I wrote down 3 things: O'Neal Cruz,
okay,
cell phone use, and great logo. That's what I like about the Pirates. They are exactly where I thought they would be. That's my 3 things on the Pirates. So,
yeah.
They just don't have anything going. They have no. It's the same thing always with the Pirates. They never have pitching.
Yeah.
Bringing up their logo, their gray jerseys might be the best jerseys in all of them.
Really? I love their jerseys.
Yellow.
I'm surprised you think you rank them that high. I like the new. I like
Team sucks.
Well, no, I know their jerseys. Because I like their jerseys. I like
their white ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are good. Okay.
I don't like their ones with the yellow striped hat.
Yeah,
I don't
like
want.
the wireless throwback.
No one likes those. There's a reason why they were popular for about 5 seconds in the 70s. Everyone was on acid.
Cocaine and acid.
Including Doc Ellis when
the Orioles Pirates World Series game of the bright orange versus bright yellow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I should.
It was right when Color TV came out. They were.
Oh my gosh.
They lied.
Yeah. Go back. Anyways, Josh, what do you think? Not about their hats.
Right where we thought they were. We didn't think the Pirates were going to be anything this year. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of little talent here and there. I mean, the left side of that infield or short and third for the future is going to be freaking awesome if they stay on the path they're on. Other than that, they don't have a whole lot to write about. I mean, I'm very appreciative of the Pirates for Quintana. He's pitched great for the Cardinals his first 2 starts. So, if you guys can keep giving up your pitchers that are of any value, I'll keep taking them. But other than that, Pittsburgh's right where we thought they'd be.
Yeah. It's weird that Quintana's doing so well, and he's been around forever. Anyways,
defense does help.
Anyways, Cincinnati Reds. He's trying to get me today. 45 and 68. 240 batting average, which is 19th, 310 on base, which is 20th, 685 OPS, which is 24th, 504 ERA, which is 29th, and a 141 WHIP, which is 26th. All notable players were traded at the deadline. Fuck this team.
I heard your podcast with the 2 guys from the Reds. That's what you said then too, basically.
Yeah.
You have no love for the Reds. Yeah.
I have the Reds front office just pisses me off, and that's whatever. They
have a great ballpark though.
Oh,
you been?
Oh yeah, he loves that ballpark.
I've been to Great American Ballpark more than I've been to Busch.
Really?
Well, living in Indianapolis growing up, it was a shorter drive to go to Cincinnati. So our family time, when my parents take vacations, Mom, Dad, and I would hop in the car. We'd drive over Cincinnati for a 3-game set and catch all 3 games.
That's sick.
That's awesome.
We did it like once a year for 5 or 6 straight years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But their season so far, I'm giving them it's where a little bit down. They're kind of in the middle, like they were bad, but you didn't know how bad they were going to be, and it was kind of weird. And then, anyways, Brandon said curse jar. Oh yeah. Daren, what do you think?
I think Castillo's been good. Oh yeah, they traded him. Drury's been good. Oh yeah, they traded him. You know what I mean? Like they were in an obvious tank mode. The GM or owner or whoever it was came out and said it like what before the season or a week into the season. For me, for the Reds. It's basically just all about Votto at this point, kind of going forward to see if he comes back and plays or not, and just kind of the history of him a little bit. The Reds is a friend. The only thing I do like about the Reds is this. They got one of my favorite pitchers to watch on MLB Network, and that's Hunter Green when he pitches. When he pitches, I like to watch him throw. I mean, I know he throws 102 and stuff like that, but not many guys can do it as consistently as he does. So he's like the one guy I think could maybe give them a little relevance next year.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll give you that
one. I hope he gets better. Like, I hope that team gets better, but I hope that the owner's son can.
Do you hope they get better?
I don't believe you.
I don't think you do.
I hope that they get better for their fans' sake and for baseball's sake, because I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. The Cubs, the Pirates, and the Reds do not have 50 wins yet, and it's not fun.
Good to be a Cardinal fan, right?
Yeah, I'm a Cardinal fan. And I love that we're winning all the time, but then it's like it's not even a competition. It's like you're running a race against a freaking snail. It's like it's not even fun. And so that's always been my thing, is like people always complain about the biggest problem with like you're not reaching the fans because it's boring. Well, it's boring because almost half the teams suck. Anyways, I'm not getting.
I'm going to tell you this. I've lived in the West Coast my whole life, far left coast. And I've always checked the newspaper as a kid, standings. I'm obsessed with that. I always compare the NL Central to the AFC South in football. They always have terrible teams at the very bottom of it. You know what I mean? Like they're just never. There's always 3 teams that really suck. I feel like in that division. And then they had a little stretch where it was good when the Pirates kind of got good there for a little bit. But that division in general to me is the Cardinals. And then whoever else wants to show up for second place, usually that's what it feels like.
I was gonna say, like, it's either like it's the worst division or the best division in all of baseball. I swear, it's like I can't like we said, like during the 2010s, it was like, oh, it's the Reds, Brewers, Cardinals, Cubs, Pirates at the beginning of the decade, and then. And then all of a sudden it just falls off. But anyways,
well, if you go way back, Houston was in the division.
Yep.
Since we're talking about go back when Houston was in the division, it was always a 3-team race.
Yeah.
Always, and the Brewers weren't a part of it. It was the Cubs or Cincinnati. It was always Houston. It was always St. Louis. I mean, it was almost always 3 teams in it. And then Houston went to where they belong. The AL, and now it doesn't matter because there's no difference between the 2 conferences. And that's what they should call them now. They shouldn't call them leagues anymore. They should call them conferences.
I like it.
Don't call it conferences. Why?
They're the same thing now. There's no difference between the 2. Baseball done ruined that.
Oh, no.
What's your guys' opinion on that? Do you guys like interleague?
Oh, I love interleague. I love interleague, and I love the DH. He's old school. He doesn't like the DH. He likes interleague.
I'm kind of with Josh a little bit. Not on the DH thing, but on the interleague thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate interleague. I like the DH.
I
don't like I don't think you should even call it interleague anymore because there's no DH. There's no discernible difference between the 2 leagues, which is why we should change it to conferences, because it's just like every other sport now, where the rules and everything play exactly the same on both sides.
That's true. That's a good
All conferences. Argument. You got the National Conference, you got the American Conference. Fine, be done with it. Boom.
Sounds so kiddish.
Sorry. Kiddish? It sounds traditionalist.
I don't like the name change, but I like the idea of it being the same. Like, you're right about that.
You don't like
Well,
interleague,
I
Josh?
appreciate that. At least somebody agrees with me on here for once.
You don't like interleague?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Well, I like when the All-Star game, like you didn't see these matchups, and like the World Series was something. Oh, we don't have like a 10-game stand, but in the regular season between these two teams.
I will say that I don't know how I feel about like every team playing every team next year. Like Cardinals are going to be playing the Rangers next year, and like the couple next years after that. Oh gosh, Natalie, why do you try to throw gas on a fire?
I can't see these. Where do these come from?
Oh, it's on the right side of the. You can. Anyways, Natalie says y'all are a little bit heated tonight. Too bad Yachty isn't here to help out. Yeah, we're not talking about Yachty tonight.
No, we'll talk about Yachty and Posey and a little.
Well, yeah, there's no discussion here. It's Posey. But anyways, all
right, I like this guy. You went up 2 points in my book.
Anyways, yeah. You're not going to get much of a fight from me. You'll get a fight from Josh. But anyways, where am I? Anyways, interleague. I'm not a fan of like the Cardinals and the Yankees just played for the first time in what has it been 10 years? I think it was. I mean Derek Jeter was still playing, so I like the novelty of two Titan teams, two of the best teams playing each other once every 5 or 10 years. But I also like, when the Angels and the Dodgers play. I also like it when the Giants and the Athletics play, when the Athletics are good. Sorry, Daren. But so it's a weird mixture, but I couldn't stand the interleague for the longest time because for the Cardinals, it was always playing the Royals, and the Royals sucked for so long, and I can't stand that. Anyways, so I don't know. There needs to be a mixture, but
you don't like in-state rivalries when they're in different conferences, leagues?
No,
it's just an in-state game.
No, I just don't care about the I didn't when it was interleague and the Rangers were playing the I don't know.
Padres.
Yeah, the Padres. It's cool. It's cool because you don't ever see that. Every year it was the Cardinals and the Royals, and it was like nothing else. Everybody else got new different matchups, so that was cool. And the Cardinals and the Royals were always getting paired up. And
it sounds like 6 easy wins for the Cardinals at least.
Hold on. But don't
You'd
the
be
Cubs
surprised.
always play the White Sox?
Yeah.
Don't the Mets always play?
Well,
the
yeah,
Yankees?
I was gonna say, yeah. But there's
an I-70 series between KC and St. Louis. There's the Subway Series every year between the Mets and the Yankees. I'm just saying, you're pointing out the Cardinals because the Royals always suck, and I'm like, dude, they do this in interstate. They do this as interstate games.
I know. I'm using the Cardinals because that's the team we know. Anyways, so but we're getting sidetracked.
Like general, you didn't like it. I was like,
no, I just don't like.
Logan, this is what happens when you get 2 members of the Fat Boy family.
I know, right?
You get sidetracked.
Reds fans or not Reds fans? Reds front office, Reds owner's son, whatever the fuck his name was. God, I hate him.
Let's move on from the Reds.
Yeah. Chicago Cubs, 47-66, 245 average, 14th in the league, 319 on base, which is 10th, 713 OPS, which is 14th, 430 ERA, 23rd in the league, and 133 WHIP, which is 25th. Christopher Morel is who I wanted to look at. 260 batting average, 331 on base, 795 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus. I give them a down because they made a lot of offseason moves. They look like they could be a contender-ish. They look like they were kind of in, but not all the way in of trying to be good this season, and it fell flat on its face. They were a lot worse, so I give them a thumbs down.
To me, the Cubs made no sense this year. It's like they sold all these players in the last 2.5 years, and then all of a sudden this offseason they go after Stroman. They signed the Japanese Suzuki guy, So I don't get what they're doing. They don't have like great play. They have that Morale guy looks like he has some talent. Suzuki has some talent, but the pitching just isn't there. Their bullpen sucks. They're just I don't know what the Cubs are doing. They seem lost.
They seem they're weird. I don't know where their farm system is, if they're just trying to sign some guys for future. But they got rid of Zach Efron. Was it Scott Efros? Yeah, to the Yankees. And he's not a free agent until like 2028. And it's like
you said Zach Efron. I got this right.
Sorry.
Those pecs got him a little excited.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But Scott Efros is I mean, he's a free agent in 2028, so I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So it's weird. Josh, what do you think?
Well, you said down. I'm going to say middle of the road because the Cubs, we expected to not be very good, but we also thought they could be a dark horse with the offseason moves they made. I'm a little surprised you didn't want to talk Contreras or Happ, considering they didn't get traded and they're still on the team. Morel is exciting to watch. He came in and had that big run when he first got called up, and he hasn't done a whole lot since. But, we see the potential there for him to be – he could be in the makings of being what might be a star in the years to come. I think Patrick Wisdom's having a really, really good year at third for them as well.
Yeah, he's having a really good year.
I mean, he's got 20-plus home runs. He's really developed into a fairly good player. I think the Cubs are just a couple players away. I think they're better than their record shows, if you want me to be completely honest, because they've given some of the good teams runs, and they've taken games away from some of the better teams in the league. This is where I think they match up well at times, but in general, they're just a player or two short. And if you're going to go all in and trade everybody, or don't trade anybody and keep building around what you got, unless there's something out there you can get that's going to make immediate help. So I put the Cubs right in the middle. They're 2 or 3 years away from being competitive again. I think they'll be probably in the same boat or just a spot lower next year.
Yeah. The reason why I didn't mention Ian Happ or Wilson Contreras is just because everybody knows them, and I wanted to throw in a name that not everybody knows, just players that you need to – I think everyone should watch out. Yeah, so that's why. But, yeah, you definitely need to watch the Cubs for Ian Happ and Wilson
Contreras. And Happ are still having good seasons.
Patrick Wisdom also is another great –
you forgot about their other guy.
Nico Horner.
Well, he's had a pretty good season too, but the Japanese kid.
Seiya Suzuki. Yeah, he's doing a really good job. Yeah, I like him too.
I mean, unfortunately, he got injured earlier in the season, so he hasn't got a full season, but still playing well.
Daren?
Yeah, I'd say thumbs down for the Cubs. I know that I'm with Tyler. It doesn't really make sense to me what they did front office wise with those two guys. At least moving them on for something. To me, they're a ways away. Unless they kind of click with some magic. I just don't see the starting rotation. I don't see any aces in the bullpen, and their hitting to me it's okay. They got like pieces that are okay, but it doesn't really make sense yet to me. So until I see it kind of come together, it's hard for me to really bank on it being a successful season for the Cubs.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they really went and got who's that pitcher? Stroman just to piss off the Cardinals, and that was annoying, but whatever. They did that 2 years in a row, and luckily the Cardinals went and got Arenado the same day that they were going to get Jock Peterson, but then the Cubs swooped in and got Jock Peterson just to be dicks. Anyways, I like the Cubs, but fuck off. Miami Marlins, 50 and 60. Wait, what?
Is that normal for Cardinals fans to like the Cubs? Or like you said, you like the Cubs? You like players on the Cubs, or you like the franchise of the Cubs?
As a baseball fan, I like the Cubs.
Okay.
As a Cardinals fan, like I just can't stand them. Like I always make jokes about how the Cubs fans are always too drunk to make any sense, or like be able to really root for their. I'm sure they say the same thing about Cardinals fans, but that's always been my thing. So. Like whenever
Logan's not really a Cardinals fan, he just poses as one.
I love the Cardinals. I just hate Cardinals fans.
I have the same love-hate relationship with my fan base as well.
Yeah, it's just like some of them just seem weird. And anyways, I need to go into that. I need to get into that one of these days. Anyways, so next up on.
For the sake of the network, don't do that.
I was gonna say
that's a really bad idea.
I'll say this. This is the thing that drives me nuts about Cardinals fan is they always want to act like they're better, and they like have this weird mentality around their fans, like they need to police every other fan base and act like, oh, we're so high and mighty in Cardinals, we're classy, and they kind of embrace that way too much, and it's a little weird. Anyways,
Josh, your thoughts?
I mean, I think Logan is trying to get decapitated from the St. Louis market because he doesn't live here or anywhere near here.
I will say this is probably my fault because I lived in Texas for 25 years and I've always idolized, Cardinals, and I've always heard about the Cardinal fans. And then I started actually talking to Cardinal fans and I was like, oh, you're stupid.
So here's the thing with Logan. He's dumb enough at times. Let me rephrase. He does dumb enough things at times because he's a really smart young man. But he does really, really stupid stuff, and he gets in arguments with dumb people on Twitter and on Facebook who aren't as well educated as he is. And then he likes to think that they're stupid just because they don't have the complete understanding and understand how the pieces all make a puzzle look beautiful and clean. And they are stuck in traditional baseball, and they have not adapted or brought in any of the new nuances of the game as it has changed. And he gets mad and he thinks they're dumb. He just doesn't understand traditionalists, and they don't change with time.
I just hate when they don't. I just hate when they don't, know what they're actually saying. Anyways, Miami Marlins 50 and 65.
Hold on, excuse me. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can carry on.
234 batting average, 24th in the which is 24th in the league, 298 on base, which is 26th, 667, which is in OPS, which is 27th, 380 ERA, which is 11th, 125 WHIP, which is 12th. Sandy Alcantara, obviously everybody knows him, but I mean, I don't think anyone really understands how great he's doing this year. 201 ERA, 202 ERA plus, 285 FIP, and a 0.96 WHIP. Cy Young, basically. I mean, if Jacob deGrom was playing the entire season, he'd be the freaking Cy Young, but he's unfortunately not. So, I mean, good Lord, it's Jacob deGrom. But we'll get to the Mets in a second. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of the Marlins? I give them a thumbs down. They're another team that they have a lot of the good pieces. Like they said, I mean, they don't capitalize on that, and that's why Derek Jeter left. And when Derek Jeter leaves, you're like, oh, that's really bad. So I'm sad about the Marlins because they have a really good team. They had a lot of really good pitchers too, and they fucked that up. So
their bullpen was terrible though, Logan. They blew a lot of those starts for some of the guys. Like Tanner Scott is their closer. He has like a 4.3 ERA. So like their bullpen hasn't been able to capitalize, I feel like. And then their offense has also been pretty, I feel like, pathetic throughout the year. Like they've gone stretches where they've got like 0-1 run. Now, what's the guy's name? The superstar second baseman.
Jazz Chisholm.
He was out for a while, so that obviously hurt them. I feel like when he went out, that's when they kind of started to like fade record-wise a little bit. I don't know if that went hand in hand with anything, but I did notice that on the standings a little bit when he went out. But the one thing with the Marlins that's always funny to me is you're right. They always are able to develop players. Yeah. They always have players on their team.
Yeah, it's disappointing. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about. Yeah. They like their first Brian Anderson, I think it was their first baseman, and Garrett Cooper. They're really good. Jazz Chisholm, obviously. Is Jesus Aguilar still good, or is he?
Not as good this year.
But I forgot about the bullpen being bad. But I mean, they still could have picked up some guys, and don't they have Like, I don't even know where Trevor Rogers is anymore. Right?
No,
is it Trevor Rogers?
He's pitching. He just isn't as good as he was
last year. Yeah. I haven't watched any of them, really, any of their games. So, Tyler, what do you think of the Marlins?
I feel like they always have, like, exciting talent, like, throughout their – even when they suck, like they had Jose Fernandez. Now they have Jazz, they have Jesus Sanchez, they have Sixto Sanchez coming up, Sandy Alcantara. They always have talent. They just don't have, like, the glue pieces that keep innings going. So I don't think they're very good. They can't score runs. The starting pitching is good. The bullpen, like you guys said, sucks. They're just – so that you need a bullpen, in my opinion, in this day and age. So, like, if you don't have that, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. Josh?
And then the ownership won't spend money, so that's another.
Yeah. And they even said that as much, and I mean that's like I said, like that's why Derek Jeter left, and that's infuriating. Infuriating.
Struggling, they have too many owners like that.
Is that why? Yeah. I mean,
we've brought it up with all these teams that suck. It's all owners that won't spend money.
Yeah, they just. That's why I think there needs to be a salary floor. I don't like salary cap, but I want a salary floor. Just because every team needs to be able to compete to some degree. You can't just have, a team like the Reds or the A's, who just trade everyone
just keep going, man. Just keep going.
I'm sorry, bud. But,
I'll bring it up all the time.
A's, like they traded Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Manaea, Montes, and everybody else, and then and then what are they doing? They're just a rollover piece whenever you play them. They have no fans in the stand. Daren, you're not even going to any of those games unless, unless there's a good team, right?
Yep.
Nobody's going.
Yeah, and so that's just that. And what are we doing? It's bad for baseball. It's bad for sports. Anyways.
Their sewage system doesn't work.
Yeah. Their sewage system?
No, it overflows every,
the A's game. They have bad sewage systems. They've had multiple plumbing.
It's literally
that's a joke. Sorry, Logan.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, is this? I thought it was a joke, but I was like, wait, is this real? Because
it was like a few years ago. The A's game got delayed because of plumbing issues.
I mean, that sounds like a problem at the Coliseum. Like, but anyways, Josh.
I give a thumbs down here. I had high hopes for Miami, looking at their roster going into the season. I didn't realize their bullpen was going to be as bad as it's ended up being. I want better for Miami. I really do. I don't know why. As a fan of baseball in general, I would like to see Miami do better. I'm kind of glad they're not because, the state of Florida gets so many championships, every decade anyways, across all the different sports. But man, I want so much more for Alcantara. I really do. I wish he was on a good team. It just burns me. I'm curious to see how long they hold on to Jazz Chisholm before they trade him. Brian Anderson, God knows when he'll be gone. When they're going to start shipping out all their talent again for another full rebuild, which I think is coming now that Jeter's gone. Huh?
Yeah. I was going to say they've been threatening to trade him for 3 seasons now.
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just, what's their offseason going to look like? How bad are they going to be next year? I think they're the Washington Nationals next year. I think they're going to be bottom of the barrel. They're going to ship out a lot of guys. If they traded Alcantara and what's the other pitcher with the killer change?
Pablo Lopez.
Yes, Pablo Lopez. Sorry, his name slipped my mind. If they unloaded both of those guys in the offseason, can you imagine the prospects they could demand back for those guys? If you're into a full rebuild, go all out, get rid of everybody. You guys are already underplaying now. I do have to give them this much. They are in arguably one of the best divisions in baseball with 2 70-plus win teams right now. So, if Miami was in the Central, could Miami be up there with Milwaukee and St. Louis right now? I would argue yes, they could be. The bullpen would be holding them back, but it's a thumbs down for me.
Yep. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to say about the Marlins?
They need to change their logo back to the old swordfish.
Like you mean like 10 years ago, or you mean like the orange and
their New Jerseys suck. They're ugly. It's not a big deal. It's not that.
I like those jerseys actually more than the past ones.
New ones?
Yeah, I like the navy-ish black and stuff.
I'm talking about just the hat mostly, like the colors.
Oh yeah. Before we move on, Josh, do you have something to tell us?
Well, we got this big giveaway going on. So it's Row One Brand is sponsoring our big first sweepstakes that we're hosting here at BSN. So go to our website or our Facebook page, click our link through Twitter, however your means of getting to us on social media is. Go there, click the link, fill out the registration form, I guess is what the best way to call it.
Yeah.
Row One Brand is gonna throw in some merchandise for the drawing, so make sure you do that. I believe the drawing is on August 28th. That's the last day to sign up. One of the two. I'll have to check the details there. We got a lot of time, but don't wait. Get in, fill out your register or your registration form, your entry, and win some cool stuff from Row One Brand. If you don't win, though, still check out Row One Brand. They are a website that has awesome sports apparel, sports art, sports coffee mugs, the perfect gift for any of your sports-loving aunts, uncles, moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, friends, boss that you pissed off because you show up to work late all the time, or boss you argue with all the time in Logan's case, and get them something to try to save your job. But lots of cool stuff there. Check out the coffee mugs. I got a T-shirt from them. It's super cool. It's vintage. All the artwork is homegrown done, and it's beautiful. Everything from college football to pro football to MLB. So go row1brand.com. Check them out. When you do get anything out of the art gallery, put in code VSP15 and you get 15% off your order. Again, that's Row One Brand. Go to our Facebook or social media pages, enter the sweepstakes, and if you don't win, make sure you check out Row One Brand and pick up some merchandise.
Wow. I'm really glad that my boss doesn't watch this. Otherwise, I'd have another fight on my hands. Anyways, okay.
If you're fighting with your boss as much as you say you are, there's no way he's watching your podcast.
Yeah, I guess not. He doesn't want to see me anymore. Colorado Rockies. Oh, these guys. 51-66. 263 batting average, which is first in all of baseball. 326 on base, which is fourth in all of baseball. 733 OPS, which is 10th in all of baseball. A 5.00 ERA, which is 28th, and a 146 WHIP, which is 29th. Players to watch: CJ Cron, 275 batting average, 328 on base, 834 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus. I think he's such an under the radar guy, so watch out for him. Daren.
Yeah, the Rockies, to me, they got off to kind of a decent start. I remember like the first month of April there a little bit, and then Bryant got hurt again, and he's been out, of course, just never can stay healthy. They're just they just kind of don't make sense with some of their moves either. Nope. Trading Arenado, then signing Bryant, signing Ryan McMahon, big contract. Just kind of some weird deals that they've kind of pulled along the way. It's
Daniel
like almost
Bard,
like they're
too.
Yep, they did that. It's almost like they're paying to stay relevant, I guess, to their fan base, but not really relevant. So,
yeah.
But I was hoping I always kind of root for the Rockies a little bit, just because I don't know why. They're just kind of a different team. They always kind of seem like they struggle a little bit. Again, the pitching. I mean, can we name more than a couple guys on the pitching staff a little bit that really matter? So I feel like that again is the big deal with the Rockies. So they just nothing there. The hitting, good numbers, but they can't win on the road again.
They've been first in batting average for the last 3 years, it seems like. So yeah, that's such a weird thing too. But anyways, Tyler, what do you think?
It's the same old Rockies. They can hit, but they can't pitch.
Yeah.
What happened to the humidor? Did that go away? Are they still using the humidor?
All stadiums have that now.
All what?
Yeah.
All stadiums now. Yeah, because Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have humidors. For the balls?
Certainly the ball still seems to fly out of the yard. It's either a strikeout or home run.
Yeah.
It's
the
just,
altitude.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Rocky Stadium, I think, benefits them. Not even how big the outfield is. There's so much like area to cover for outfielders in left and in right and center, obviously, like all stadiums in center. But they just can't pitch.
Yeah.
And like I said before with the Marlins, if you can't pitch,
yeah.
not winning.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Yeah, obviously. Yeah, and like that's kind of the Coors effect. So a lot of those numbers might be inflated because of the Coors effect
like
and the altitude.
The Coors effect, like John Gray, he's having a pretty successful year where he is now. It's a lot better than when he was in Colorado. So, and
that's why a lot of pitchers hate pitching in Colorado. And anyways, but yeah, they're so confusing. The Chris Bryant deal after, not trading Trevor Story and then trading Arenado. And obviously they went and got what's his face? Chris Bryant just to sell jerseys. I think that's what our friends at Far End of the Bitch say. Yeah. Just to get some jerseys sales. So
I think they're right. I think they're right on the money. I think that's exactly because why else are you trading away Nolan Arenado, all these guys? You're trading Tulowitzki. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it really makes sense for a guy that's always injured, anyways.
Yeah, it's stupid, and unfortunately, it's just stupid. Anyways, Arizona Diamondbacks, 229 batting average, which is 26th, 307 on base, which is 23rd, 696 OPS, which is 20th, 4.12 ERA, which is 22nd, and a 1.28 WHIP, which is 18th. Ketel Marte, I mean, everybody knows basically Ketel Marte, but he's having a really good season. I mean, his biggest problem, as always, has been the injury. But this season he's healthy, so he's got a 258 batting average, 344 on base, 779 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus. I give him a thumbs middle just because they're not buyers, but they're not sellers, and they kind of just have been there. I think they're more of like a thorn in the west side. It seems like they always give every team a run for their money. So there's my opinion on that.
Yeah, Christian Walker's been surprising too for them. He almost has 30 home runs. He's kind of come out of nowhere with that a little bit. And then Rojas has come on of late for them a little bit too. He's been better. But yeah, I'd give them a thumbs up a little bit, not much, but I didn't. They're 8 under, but they're kind of a little bit more feistier and competitive than I thought they would be. Zach Gallen has been pretty good too for them, and so I don't know. I know the record doesn't reflect it, but I feel a little bit more positive about them than I do some of the other teams that are below 500.
Yeah, they don't pretend to try to go out and win every year. They're like, we're here.
Yeah, but they seem a little bit smarter with what they're doing there.
Yeah. Tyler?
They're where I expected, I guess. They have had surprising performances from Walker. Marte's doing his thing. I really like Ketel Marte. And Rojas has had a surprising year. The pitching, once again, isn't – Bumgarner, since he signed, hasn't been who he was on the Giants.
Yeah.
They don't have much – they don't have like an ace. Their relievers are a little better than I expected this year, but they're still not great. I guess just because of Walker having the year he's had, I'd give them a thumbs up, and they've won a little more than I expected. I just don't get how the Cardinals end up with all these NL West superstars.
Yeah. I remember when the Arenado trade came in, Foolish Baseball. He came out and he said it seems like the Rockies and the Diamondbacks have always been wanting to trade these guys, and every other team was afraid to ask about them, except for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals just got like the best deal because of that. So it's like that girl that was always single, and she was the hottest one in high school, and she was always single because every guy was afraid to ask her out. I had that happen, or not with me, but I knew a girl who had that happen. I was like, oh my gosh.
Logan just admitted on the internet live he was the prettiest girl in school, and all the boys would feel free to ask him out.
Listen, I lived in.
You want to make that for the record right now?
I lived in a small
and he
town
lives in Texas.
There
may not be living there much longer.
There was a cow in every hallway. So, no, I'm kidding. Anyways, whoever's next, just go.
Josh, take away.
So, I give Arizona a thumbs up. They got a lot of guys that nobody's ever heard of. They're playing decent baseball. They're pushing some of the better teams here and there. I think they're still in a build mode, but I like the team. I like how they play the game. I've only got to see a few of their games this year, but I mean, they are who they are. They are what they are. They are what they've always been for the last 18 years. Are we ever going to see a change? I don't know. But I give them a thumbs up just because they're better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to say than that about them.
Yeah. Aside from the Oakland Athletics, I think that they have the worst stadium ever. I hate that stadium.
I've been to that stadium. It is god awful. It's like I don't know what. It's nothing like I've ever been to.
It's just like a warehouse.
Oakland, because at least Oakland's outdoors and like nice area, like weather-wise. There's no like great quality about going to. It was called Bank One Ballpark Island, the Bob. It's not a good fit. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's like a warehouse, and the only reason why they're like not going to build another stadium for a while, at least, is because it's in such prime real estate.
Mm-hmm. It's right downtown.
I mean, yeah, and you wouldn't even know that was the ballpark unless there's like the big chase. Yeah, it's like, oh, why is it in the shop? Yeah, and it's a warehouse in the middle of Arizona. It seems like. Anyways, moving on. Ooh, this is gonna take a minute. San Francisco Giants, just above the Diamondbacks, 57-57. 236 batting average, which is 23rd, 320 on base percentage, which is 7th, 715 OPS, which is 13th, 395 ERA, which is 17th, and a 128 WHIP, which is 17th. I wanted to highlight Alex Cobb, 415 ERA, 98 ERA plus, 292 FIP, and a 128 WHIP. Tyler, I'll start with you. What do you give the Giants?
2 thumbs down.
Yeah.
2 thumbs. This is the most disappointing season I've ever been a part of. Like, this is a team I have high expectations. I like the Cardinals are like who I think the Giants are on the West Coast. Like, we should always be competitive. We should compete for championships every once in a while. We're not going to overspend. Like, we'll spend a lot. We're going to be in the top 8 of payroll. And their best player is fucking Mike Yastrzemski. It's embarrassing. It's not okay. And then we have Giants fans. Oh, we won 107 games. I'm like, yeah, somehow we won 107 games. It's not good. I don't get what we're doing. Even our minor leagues are like mediocre. We can't acquire anybody worthwhile. We can go get like the mediocre like bullpen guys. Why didn't we go get Soda?
Yeah,
we are a big fucking brand. We're huge. We won 3 fucking World Series and we suck.
Yeah,
we won 107 games last year.
Yeah, they're it's so weird. I remember hearing that they were gonna what was it? They were in on Soto, and I was like, they're not getting Soto.
No.
I was surprised last year when they got Bryant. And I think the reason why they got Bryant was just because the Cubs were dying to get rid of him.
Yeah, they were giving people away at that point.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Dodgers, who are supposed to be our rivals. Like, they have, like, Freeman, Bex, fucking – who's their third guy that they just – Freeman –
Turner.
Trey Turner. They have, like, a filet mignon, lobster, and a prime rib. We have fucking burnt turkey for Thanksgiving.
The Golden Corral sirloin steak.
Yeah. It's just not good. Yeah, the Giants have been. This is the worst, like most frustrated I've ever been by the team. And people will be like, "Well, they won 107 games last year." Yeah, through smoke and mirrors and clutch hitting. That
Tyler's pissed at their GM Farhan. He gets a big break out here because of that with 107 wins last year. He gets a big break. He doesn't spend any money. I mean, come on, you even mentioned
that's exactly like the Cardinals. Yeah.
But you guys at least will get Arenado and Goldschmidt. I mean, they have Wilmer Flores batting third. I mean, that's the problem with the Giants.
Why couldn't we go get Scherzer and Turner last year? That would have turned the whole thing around.
You don't have the prospects.
We'd be better than the Ducks. Well, give them everything.
Yeah. Oh,
we don't have anything. Give them it.
Yeah. Better be careful. Some people don't like that. No, I'm kidding. I'm disappointed by the Dodgers or the Giants this year. Like, obviously, they had their incredible 107 win season last year, and I mean, I thought, oh man, I don't think they're going to get 107 wins because of just how good the Dodgers are year in and year out. But I think they're going to do well. At least they'll be able to build off what they had last year, and then they just kind of farted. They did really well the first 2 months, I believe.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of.
You just look at their lineup and you're like, it's that.
Yeah.
Out basically. There's no one who you're like, oh, we can't let this guy come up with guys on scoring position.
I was surprised to see how good Evan Longoria is doing though this year.
Yeah, but
he's doing better.
He's always hurt.
Yeah, that was the thing. What do you think of Gabe Kapler?
I went
by
for
the way,
game on Saturday against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Tyler. What do you think of Gabe Kapler? What do you think of Gabe Kapler?
The stadium's half full now, and it's like a beautiful stadium. The franchise is just.
He's
the worst it's been since I moved into that stadium.
Yeah.
I know fans don't care about the Giants, but
it seems like seventh inning does better than the Cardinals Chronicles, and probably because I shit about the Cardinals all the time. So, what do you think?
The Giants do own the Cardinals in the last decade. If we want to shit on them.
Listen, okay, so I'm going to mention this. So 2012, like the Cardinals were 3-1, I believe, against the Giants.
3-1.
I was like,
game 5.
I was gonna say like it was either game 5 or 6. There was a fly ball. I can't remember who hit it. I don't think it was Scudero, but John Jay makes a diving catch, and I swear to God, if replay was available back then, the Cardinals would have won the NLCS because he caught that ball, and then they said he dropped it or he trapped it, and then that started like this horrible 6th inning. And it was the worst thing ever.
I don't remember that, but I believe you. Shit like that does happen in baseball.
And then I went to
It
Tim
probably was Scudero because Scudero started everything that year.
Scudero the pain in the ass that series.
Yes. Marco Scudero.
Remember in the rain when he caught the
game
7?
But I went to the Oracle. Well, I guess back in that day it was AT&T. Back in 2014, I believe. Yeah, 14. And it was the game after, or it was Tim Lincecum's first game after his no-hitter.
And he threw a couple.
It was July.
It was against the Padres when he threw 150 pitches.
No, it was against the. It might have been. Because I knew he threw a lot of pitches, and like he pitched against the Cardinals, and I was like, okay, cool. He's coming off a no-hitter where he just threw a whole bunch of pitches. The Cardinals should easily dominate him, and they didn't even he shut them out, and it was the most dominant pitching performance I had ever seen. And I was like, Tim Lincecum is so great, and he should be in the Hall of Fame. I know he hasn't played in so long, but
Tim Lincecum is one of those guys who's a legend in San Francisco. He's beloved.
Freak.
He's beloved. Yeah. Like you could look at like attendance when he pitched, it would just spike, and then it'd come back that late. He's beloved still to this day. He reminds me kind of Felix Hernandez. He had like that upper echelon that like is Pedro-esque, but he just fell off and didn't have the longevity.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was just great. And I honestly, I know he hasn't pitched all that well, but I think he needs to be in the Hall of Fame Probably more than Barry Bonds, actually, in my opinion.
Well, don't talk bad about Barry. You'll make me.
I'm not talking bad. I think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame too. So, but okay. Oh, Daren, let's talk about the Giants because he's been shitting on the A's this whole time. So it's time for you to get some.
No,
Tyler crapped on his own team with that for me right there.
Oh, yeah, right.
I'm with them. The Giants are. Their offense is pathetic. It's just not very good. It's always the issue with the Giants around here. They just don't have usually a good offense. Last year was shocking. It was a once in a lifetime year. Guys had career years like Crawford and Bell. You name it. They weren't going to get those type of years again. And as good as Rondon's was early and Webb was early, it just wasn't enough with their offense. And they blew a few games early as well. Because you said they got off to a good stretch. Then they started to blow a few of those games, and that really started to hurt them going forward there. But man, the Giants just struggling right now. They're just in a weird spot. It's always weird to me when you're like the 8th seed.
Yeah. It's weird. I think they're in a playoff position, or are they in the play?
They're 4.5 out, I think.
Yeah, they're not in it.
No, they're okay. Yeah.
But do you get like the comparison of the Giants and the Cardinals? Is that pretty fair, or do you feel like you're Cardinal fans, like you said earlier?
We have a lot of the same complaints about like our manager or general manager that you seem to have, like not going out and doing what needs to be done to win. You're not ever fully committed. You can have a 107 win season, and it seems like your general manager is like, "Oh, I don't care to get better."
Yeah.
Is that? Yeah. So that seems to be, I mean, at least my complaint. Some of the fans like to keep their hands in the stands.
But you guys do have Arenado and Goldschmidt.
Yeah, but we didn't pay that. They didn't pay that much for him.
Flores and Yastrzemski.
Yeah.
It's so like it's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way they get Goldschmidt and Arenado if they. I mean, like with a normal trade package, like they didn't pay any. They didn't get anything for those guys. They didn't give anything for those guys. So it's like okay, but like they say that they were willing to give up everything for Juan Soto, but anyways, it's whatever. Next, Milwaukee Brewers. 61-52, 239 batting average, which is 20th, 319 on base, which is 11th, 734 OPS, which is 9th, 384 ERA, which is 13th, and a 124 WHIP, which is 11th. Player I think everyone should look out for is Rowdy Tellez, 237 batting average, 321 on base, 805 OPS, and a 123 OPS plus. Josh, why don't you go ahead and go first?
I'm glad I get to comment on this one since I got skipped on the last one.
Oh, well, talk about the Giants real quick.
No, that's cool. You guys covered it really well.
I want to hear your thoughts about the Giants.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what happens when
I think I'm the one who
minutes.
predicted on our preseason show that the Giants weren't going to be very good this year because they had no leadership in the clubhouse and the chemistry was gone. And I credit that to Buster Posey. Okay?
That's
It's the first time.
I think I'm the only person who predicted that the Giants were not going to be very good this year. Now, they came out, they had a good little run there at the beginning, but they have obviously fallen off. They're sitting 500. That's a thumbs down for me in my general opinion of the team, but it's right where I expect them to be at the end of the season. So they're right on track for me. So I give it a thumbs up on prediction-wise. We go jumping over to Milwaukee.
Oh, hold on, Josh. I like how you smiled, though, while you said the Giants thing. I just want to point that out just real quick. You did smile the whole time while you were saying
It's because I think it's the only preseason prediction I've had actually go correct like my entire way.
There you go.
Is there a Giants-Cardinals rivalry at all? Like, because Will Clark got in a fight with Ozzie Smith. Oh, they're pretty competitive. Like, I feel like they meet a lot in the playoffs. Like San Francisco doesn't acknowledge it, but I'm always like, why do we not hate the Cardinals more?
I don't think the Cardinals ever really cared about I think they got over the Will Clark and Ozzie and Willie McGee fight. Mm-hmm. But then 2012-14, that was like I ranked that up with like 2004 World Series right there. It's just some of the hardest moments as a Cardinal fan for me in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
And like, I mean, the Ishikawa home run walk off to go to the World Series.
Travis Ishikawa,
Ishikawa, yeah, whatever. Backup Barry Zito. Barry Zito can eat a bag of dicks for all I care.
Can I tell you a quick story about that series? It was 3-1, and my friend's like, "Let's go to Game 6, or let's go to the Giants guys." Like, if Barry Zito pulls out this victory down 3-1, I'll go to Game 6 when Vogelsong pitches. Somehow, and I didn't think Zito was going to be able to beat you guys, and he threw this gem out of nowhere. I was like, oh, fuck, I got to spend like $300 on a damn ticket because I promised him I'd go. And I was like, all right. And then we came back, and you know the history of what happened. I don't need to rehash it, but that was something. I was shocked Zito did what he did. In St. Louis, nonetheless.
It was so hard. It was so hard to watch that game. I didn't think that I figured they were going to win that next game. I think it was. Like, I didn't think they were going to win the series in St. Louis on a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
But
I think it was Wainwright who pitched against Zito that day also. Or maybe Wainwright for Vogelsong.
I want to say Lance Lynn. Because isn't that the game where he threw that really shitty throw to second and overthrew it? And
You're correct. Okay. I'm wrong. Sorry.
That's fine. It's this fucking baseball memory. Yeah, right. Listen, I hate being right. I hate remembering all this crap. Anyways, Milwaukee Brewers. Josh.
So the good old Brew Crew, right where this is my second prediction that I got right on the season. That's where we stand right now, that the Cardinals would win the division, and the Brew Crew would be right behind them.
Knock on some
the Brewers are freaking. They're a good little team, man. I don't know what they were thinking at the trade deadline. It seems like it's messed the locker room a little bit, but they're still a good team. They don't hit as well as they should, but their starting pitching is something to be desired by any MLB team. I think any MLB team out there would love to have their starting pitching set up. At least they're 1, 2, and 3. I don't think Milwaukee's out of it yet. I mean, it just kind of depends on what happens with Philly and San Francisco and San Diego. But Milwaukee's a good team. I can't knock Milwaukee. They're a good team. They're fun to watch play. They're never completely out of it. Just by watching the Cardinals-Milwaukee series last weekend, those were all close games for the most part. So Milwaukee's a good team, right where I thought they would be. I mean, I figured they'd probably like 65 wins at this point, but I also figured the Cardinals would have closer to 70. So it is what it is. I mean, they're a good team. They're still in it. The Central Division's wide open for the taking, and Milwaukee could still come out on top.
Yep. Daren?
Yeah, I thought that Hader move was definitely a little bit odd at the deadline. It was definitely just kind of just an odd move. I wouldn't think it would give your team confidence at the deadline at all. I liked your point, Logan, on Tellez. He has been really good for the Brewers. And then the shortstop, I just can't think of his name, they got from the Rays last year. Adames, I believe. He's been pretty good too for him. I love one of my favorite players in the league is Williams. So I like the Brewers for that reason. His changeup alone is it's just so nasty. It's just one of those pitches. If he's pitching, I'm like, if I got it on the TV real quick, I could find that. He has electric stuff. So he's one of those guys I'm willing to watch. The Brewers they're just an odd team to me. And like you said, they're over 500, but none of us here are like, yes, good job Brewers either. So it's kind of just an odd team.
Yeah. Tyler?
I think I'm a little bit higher on the Brewers than you guys, just based on – they remind me of the 2010 – I always bring back the Giants, but the 2010 Giants, because the starting pitching, it can be dominant at times. If Freddie Peralta gets healthy, and then Burns and Woodruff have great stuff, and then the Hader trade made no sense. That's the issue I have is why would you trade Hader? You do have Devin Williams to fill that role, but who's the guy who's going to fill Devin Williams' role? I don't know, but I like the starting pitching, and that translates in postseason. If they can get in the postseason, I would not want to play the Brewers. But we'll see how the rest of the month and a half plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. The Brewers, I'm giving a big thumbs down. They were an incomplete team at the beginning of the season, and they are less than an incomplete team now than they were at the trade deadline. They actually got worse at the trade deadline. I think I've said my piece enough on how pissed off I am about how the Brewers are throwing their season away, but they're in it. They're a game and a half behind out of a wild card spot right now. I think they don't, because there's not going to be a game 163. So if they're tied with the Cardinals, well, actually not the Cardinals yet, but the Braves, the Phillies, or the Padres, then they are out of the playoffs. So they have to win the division or beat the Cardinals. And so they dig themselves into a hole, and they just will not completely they won't get that one extra guy. And Christian Yelich has kind of stepped up, especially lately, but I mean, it's just been a shit show basically for them. And I think they kind of suffer the same, or not. They kind of are better because they have such an easy division, I think, in my opinion. And it's the same with the Cardinals for me. Like the Cardinals, I think the Cardinals are not as good before the trade deadline. And the Brewers are not as good before the trade deadline because, well, they're just not good, I think. And I think they play the Cubs and the Pirates and the Reds so much that they just get better, or they get a little bit of a boost, basically. Sorry if that sounded so completely. I just had a stroke right there. So, anyways,
the Brewers caused.
He broke his own brain with his thought.
So how many teams make the playoff? Two. There's 2 wild card teams.
3 wild card teams now.
3 this time, yeah.
So
and
I think
how does that work?
The Brewers are a game and a half out of the wild card.
But how it's just a 1-game wild card between the last 2 teams and a 3-game playoff?
I think first gets a bye.
Yeah.
Oh, the first team gets a bye into the playoffs? But
yeah.
That would be 4 playoff teams, and then there's a 5th team.
I think there's a best of 3.
Yeah.
Best of 3 there.
I think I thought there was at least one, because I think. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. I saw that the schedule came out, and I didn't even get a chance to look at it today. But yeah, it's weird. Anyways, moving on. St. Louis Cardinals. Oh God, 63-51. 253 batting average, which is 6th. 323 on base, which is 6th. 740 OPS, which is 6th. 389 ERA, which is 15th, and a 127 WHIP, which is 16th. Player I think you should watch is Miles Michaelis. 344 ERA, 111 ERA plus, and a 371 FIP, and a 105 WHIP. Tyler, why don't you go ahead? Tell us why you hate the Cardinals.
I actually really respect the Cardinals. They're everything. Like you said before, before you talk to Cardinals fans, that's how I interpret the Cardinals. Is this very knowledgeable fan base who respects their players. Is Mark McGwire went from the A's to the Cardinals, and he wasn't expected to re-sign with the Cardinals when he went there. And he fell in love with the fan base. It was these guys know what they're talking about. I mean, I don't know if Mark McGwire is the person who you want to take moral from, but
still love Mark McGwire.
Yeah, it was great. He was great. He was fun to watch, and he did. And I was so the Cardinals, I actually respect. I hate them. I have more of a rivalry with them than most Giants fans because they're competition.
Yeah,
and they're who I think the Giants should be. You should be always competing, and the Cardinals are always competing. I think the Cardinals this year are really good with Arenado, Goldschmidt. The shortstop, you got Tommy Edmonds, and then Paul O'Neill. Who's the O'Neill you guys?
Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah, and Tyler. I just like who you guys run out there every day. Your pitching is always better than I feel like it should be. Whoever your pitching coach is should get a raise every year.
Mike Maddox.
There's always outpitch who it is. Is that who it is? Greg Madison, brother?
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, like, I think the Cardinals are very dangerous. I give them a thumbs up. They're right where I think they should be. Plus a little better.
Yeah, I piggyback off Tyler too. Same thing. I give them a thumbs up. Yeah, living out here on the West Coast, it just seemed like one of those teams. Like I said earlier, they're a team that never dies. Like that's how I look at the Cardinals. Honestly, like I'm not a fan at all. Just whenever they're in a playoff game, I'm always thinking, man, if I was a fan of the Cardinals, I would be very happy because their team never died. They always come back. It feels like. I know you guys have had your heartbreaking losses, but I mean, they've also had like some really great wins. Game 6, my buddies are Rangers fans. One of my best friends is a Rangers fan, so that series alone tells you guys. But for this year, I think you guys are in actually pretty good position too. Like Tyler said, like you guys are not like in great position. You didn't go out and like overload on players, but you also have probably the best National League hitter right now in the league. You have one of the best Arenado is right there. So, I don't know. I just think you guys are always going to be right in it. And you guys know as Cardinals fans, you're going to win like in 5 games or 7 games or something like that. It's just going to be stressful, and you guys will probably pull it out. That's how I look at it. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on their season.
One quick thing, something Daren has always brought up is you guys get the best at, and I brought up about your pitching. That Joe Montgomery for Harrison Bader trade. Mm-hmm. It feels like as soon as Joe Montgomery pitches for the Cardinals, he's going to get significantly better than where he is.
He'll shut out 5 shutout innings or something like that.
No, he hasn't allowed a run as a Cardinal yet, and he's got like 17 strikeouts.
That's what I expect when you go to the Cardinals.
Yeah. Before Josh goes into the Cardinals thing, I want to say, Daren, so I live in Texas, and you talk about your friend being a Rangers fan. So, I mean, obviously, I was rooting for the Cardinals, but so my dad's a pastor, and on the Sunday, it was like game something, and it was a Sunday, and I went to church in a Cardinals jersey, and everyone was so angry at me. It was like it was during the series, and they were like, oh, the Cardinals are going to lose, and everyone was texting me during game 6, and all of a sudden, all the text stopped. And everyone. And anyways, but yeah, Josh, go ahead and talk about the Cardinals.
How about you go first on the Cardinals? I'll go second.
Okay, so I give them a thumbs down before the trade deadline. They were just disappointing all the way around. They were favorites to win the division, and during the offseason, they didn't go out and get anyone. After the trade deadline, I give them a thumbs up. They seem very committed to winning this year. They've sent down players. They've released players who are not helping the team, like TJ McFarland, who's done shit this season. So yeah, I made a prediction. What was it last Wednesday that the Cardinals are going to win the World Series this year?
Dang.
Yeah, and I wasn't even high or drunk that day. So.
You wouldn't have picked him if you were drunk or something.
Tyler, you're muted, but what?
Your father must have been proud.
Oh yeah, right.
High or drunk.
Yeah, right. But yeah, and so I was. So yeah, I have a feeling about the Cardinals team right now. If they just get rid of Jordan Hicks and Genesis Cabrera, that I think would be good in good hands. Josh, is that good enough for you?
I think you're a fool, but here we go. So, St. Louis Cardinals. Since we did this little like in-between thing, I'm giving them an in-between. They're not a thumbs up, but they're not in the middle, and they're definitely not a thumbs down. I have had my frustrations with this team this year. If anybody watches Cardinals Chronicles on a regular basis, you've heard me complain and be upset. I feel like they are not 100% committed to going all in to win the World Series. Do I think this team has a chance to win the World Series? Right now, I do, because the two trades they made, the two big trade, quote-unquote big, trades they made at the deadline are already working. I was at work. I missed the whole trade deadline because I was working that day. And Logan texted me right as I'm about to get home, and he's all excited because Bader gets traded. He's just thrilled. Like he's in the he have to take a cold shower because Bader's no longer on the team. And he texts me who we get, and I'm like, who's this? Like I had no idea. So I had to go look it up and see who Monty was, and I'm very impressed with his ability to pitch and handle a game. Then you talk about us picking up Quintana, and Quintana comes in, and he pitches really, really well too. We got 4 solid starters right now. If Jack Flaherty comes back and is any kind of resemblance that he was in 2019, I would drive over to Illinois, lay a bet on the Cardinals to win the NLCS, and I might even, if the odds are high enough, lay down some money for them to win the World Series.
Dang.
I agree that Cabrera right now is a problem because he's lost. I don't think Hicks is as much of a problem. I think that's a management issue and how he's being used. Since Yachty's return from his rehab, the Cardinals have been a force to be reckoned with. That's all I'm going to say about it, Logan. Because you can't deny the stats, because you always want to talk to me about analytics. Statistically, the Cardinals have been untouchable since Yachty has come back to the lineup. This team looks like they are set to make a run. I think they win the Central. I'm still very disappointed with the management overall. Probably much like Tyler is with San Francisco's management, as he told us. But this team is winning the division right now with 40-something games to go. Maybe 50. I'm trying to do math in my head, and that doesn't work usually very well. But regardless, I think the Cardinals are on the up and up. I think they can run with anybody in the NL right now, and that includes the Mets, that includes Atlanta, that includes the Dodgers and the Padres. So we'll see what happens, especially if we can get the rest of our guys back and be healthy. PDJ has been a nice surprise since he's been recalled from Memphis. We're still waiting for Yepes to come back.
Paul DeYoung.
He's been very, very solid. He was always good defensively. His offense is what got him sent down, and it looks like he found his swing. So I think you got to look out for the Cardinals. And this is not the fan in me saying this. This is me looking at the statistics and numbers. They're very consistent offensively. They're number 6 in ranking basically across the board offensively. The pitching needed help, and the help has showed up. So I think it's game on. I think the Cardinals can make a deep run, and I think we'll be having Cardinal Chronicles maybe into late October.
Logan, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you like Yachty? What's your like?
So my thing with him is I think he's played 3 years too long. I loved Yachty during the 2010s. And yeah, it's just I think right now he's just a waste of space. And he's hurt a lot of opportunities. I think he's kind of screwed Andrew Kisner over a little bit just because Andrew Kisner was hold on. So yeah, there's just a couple things with Yachty. I think he's just not useful, and his need is more or he needs the Cardinals more than the Cardinals need him, in my opinion. I think he's a really good leader, but I don't think he's useful in the lineup.
Now, as this is for both of you, is he still? Would you still want him up in a clutch at bat? Because he's always been clutch as far as non-Cardinals fan watching the Cardinals.
No,
that's a resounding no from Logan.
Josh even says no. In his head, in his heart, he says no.
No, I don't. Do I think Yachty needed to start every game at the beginning of the year and be the primary catcher? No. I think Logan's a complete moron when it comes to catchers. I don't think he has any good understanding of what a catcher's job is in playing the game. He literally, when it comes to catchers, he only cares about their offense. He doesn't care about their ability to manage a bullpen, manage a starter, call a game. Because Logan was never a catcher, never probably was best friends with a catcher or studied a catcher, he has no essence, no idea what a catcher's job is in baseball.
I had my balls fondled by a catcher.
So that's why he hates catchers, and he only likes them to be able to do one thing. But I don't think he stunted Kisner at all. I think they knew the kid that Carson Kelly that we traded over to Arizona. I think they knew he wasn't the future. Kisner was drafted as a third baseman and turned into a catcher because the Cardinals didn't have anybody in the system. Now, could the Cardinals have made other moves in previous off seasons to pick up a catcher to maybe split 50-50, save Yadi's knees with him getting older? Yeah, I think so. But I think Yadi still holds a very big position on the team. If you talk to any of the players, even Nolan Arenado said that the difference since the trade deadline has been Yadi or Molina. It's not the pitchers. So, and Logan will say every player is going to say that, and I hear that, and I understand because you're not going to throw a player under the bus who's a legend on the team and in the MLB, but Yadi should not be the primary catcher, is what I will say. But he still has a place on the team. He still serves a purpose. And since he's come back, Cardinals have been one of the best teams in the league when he plays the game. So, I mean,
you know you're going to have
for the
game in the playoffs where he's just slurping on Yachty like how he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
No. See, and that's another thing that I dislike. That's another thing about Cardinals fans is like for the longest time, like if you said anything bad about Yachty, if you said that he was slow, people would be like, oh my gosh, we don't pay him for his speed. And I'm like, no. And then it's like the worst thing. Like if you dare to say anything bad about Yachty, oh my gosh, you are a Cubs fan. Anyways, but let's move on because it's not Cardinals Chronicles.
Because there was something you said earlier I didn't get to jump in on.
Okay.
This is way back in the show. You want a salary cap floor. You want a salary floor.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no problem with that, but there should be a cap. If you're going to have a floor, there has to be a cap. You can't have a floor and not have a cap, or at least a luxury tax. And it's got to be somewhere lower than what it is right now. I mean, your floor can't be $70 million a year and your cap be $275.
No.
I would disagree with that. I'm with Logan on this one. Why can't you have a floor? Just an owner spend some sort of money to at least hold them responsible for. Yeah. Like I get that other teams might just spend more, but at least that owner has to put some responsibility, like loss of money, like because or go sell the team. That's it's not a baseball like competitive thing. It's more the owner. F the owner for being this cheap ass and making all this money off revenue sharing.
Like the Pirates,
it's not your money though. It's the owner's money. He can do whatever he wants with his money.
Yeah, and that's the point. That's the point.
As a baseball fan, I don't want to see that.
And then
sell the team,
and then they want to complain about rules like that makes the game more fun. Let me tell you something. If there was a salary floor 10 years ago, there would be no DH in the NL right now. There would be no pitch clock. There would be no 3-batter minimum thing. All these things that are trying to shorten the game, that would be out the window if there was a salary floor, because then we'd have more teams that are more competitive. And so that's my point.
You don't think a cap would make the game more competitive?
I think a cap would too, but I'd rather have the owners at least spending money to try and win than.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like telling owners, "Oh, you have way too much money," and it's just I don't know. I don't like it for football, and I don't like it for a lot of the other sports.
But I'm not against the cap.
Yeah,
I'm just for a floor.
Yeah, but let's move on.
I just think if you have one, you have to have the other. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you're gonna have one, you have the other. That's why hockey. Not to go to another sport because Logan hates why I talk hockey, but this is why hockey, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 teams a season at the bottom and 2 or 3 teams being excellent, like the best of the best during the regular season, the middle 24 or 22 teams every year are competitive and equal because there's a floor and a cap. And it makes the game more exciting. Like Logan loves the trade deadline. A cap would make the trade deadline even more exciting.
Rays or Avalanche this year, they were both too loaded. They just drafted better than everybody else, and they kept their players. I don't want to get into hockey. I'm over it. I'm with you. I don't mind a cap. As long as there's a floor, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm good with the floor as long as there's a cap. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the Philadelphia Phillies, 63-51, 249 average, 11th in the league, 312 on base, which is 19th, 730 OPS, which is 11th. 3.73 ERA, which is 11th, and 1.21, which is 11th. Player I wanted to highlight was Rhys Hoskins. He's been having a sneaky hot year, 249 average, 342 on base, 824 OPS, and a 129 OPS plus. I wish that I put his home runs and RBIs in there, but I forgot. So, but the Phillies
24 home runs and 54 RBIs.
Thank you. Only 54 RBIs. They have the second wild card spot right now, I believe. Yeah. So, yeah, second wild card spot right now. So, I give them a thumbs, up. They had a very disappointing start to the season. Then they fired Joe Girardi, and I famously said that was stupid, and Joe Girardi was not the problem. And then apparently he was the problem. So, stupid Logan.
You and I agreed on that one.
Yeah, and then it came out that Bryce Harper was like, he was a piece of shit. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, anyways, so I give them a thumbs up. Very good now. Their defense doesn't seem to be a problem anymore, and that's weird because that was what everyone was worried about. But their pitching has been better, and their offense, even without Bryce Harper, has been really good. Tyler?
It's a huge thumbs up for me. I didn't think they'd be very good. Especially once Harper got hurt, I thought they were going to fall right off. Like Schwarber's numbers would come down. The Hoskins is set up. Castellano's numbers in the second half have been much better. The hitting is dangerous. Then you have Wheeler, who's a good pitcher. Nola, who's a great pitcher. Gibson, who's overperforming. I feel like I just am not impressed with his stuff, but his numbers are better than they are. So I give them a resounding thumbs up. I didn't think they'd be this good. And then Alec Boehm, whose defense was just atrocious last year and then the beginning of this year, he's kind of figured it out at third base. So I give them a thumbs up again.
Yeah, I'm with Tyler on that. I think they're thumbs up as well. Once Harper got hurt, I kind of put them like, oh, they're not going to be in the running as much, but they're playing a little better than I thought. The defense, I still think come postseason though, that's where that stuff will make a difference in a short series like that. You know what I mean? Just little plays like that. I still think that stuff is where it could come up with the Phillies, but I would say thumbs up, especially with Harper being out. That's impressive. I'm impressed they're still going.
Yeah. Joshy.
2 thumbs up. I mean, you guys basically encapsulated all of my thoughts. You know, at the beginning of the season, they were bad. Thought defense was the issue. Was a little worried about their pitching in the later part of the rotation. I thought they were going to put up 8 to 9. I mean, I honestly, and I said it on air, I thought they were going to put up somewhere between 7 and 9 runs every game for every win they needed because the defense would be so bad. They still have the capability to do so, but they don't need to now. I was disappointed in the Girardi firing as well, but it seems like it was the right move. Good for Phillies fans. They haven't been relevant in a couple years. I mean, outside of Bryce Harper being on the roster, they're not making deep runs into the playoffs. So I'm happy for the Phillies fans. 2 thumbs way up for the Phillies. And hopefully, I mean, I would love to see them go on a run somehow and catch the Mets and take first.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Make it interesting at least.
Yeah.
Okay. San Diego Padres, 65 and 52, 243 batting average, which is 16th in the league, 319 on base, which is 9th in the league, 702 OPS, which is 15th in the league, 377 ERA, which is 9th, and 121 WHIP, which is 8th. Jurickson Profar is the player I wanted to highlight. 251 batting average, 345 on base, 755 OPS, and a 118 OPS plus. I give them a thumbs up-ish, kind of, yeah. They're about where I thought they would be. But I don't know why, but I feel like they're about to have a meltdown. Another meltdown like they did last season. And
I think you can guess why.
Yeah, and I'm just waiting for it. And now maybe that reason may not be on the team. And that may actually be the best thing to happen right now. So I think the worst thing, because I think a lot of Padres fans were worried, secretly worried. I don't think they would ever say it, was if Tatis came back, he would want to be like the big man in charge and the leader of this clubhouse, and the clubhouse doesn't need him, or they need him, but they didn't they didn't need him really. I don't know if
they're not relying on him.
Yeah, we're not relying on him. Thank you, Daren. So yeah, that's my idea of it. But Daren, what do you think?
Yeah, we talked about a little bit this the other day on Friday. I just think the Padres are. I still kind of like them. I don't know. I just think they still have the talent to win in the postseason. I love guys like Soto in the postseason that fight on every at bat. Machado's motivated. Drury's there. I think their pitching is streaky enough to get there. I think it could. Darvish can be nasty. They got Musgrove that could be good. Snell could still be good at times. And they got Hader now. And Hader, I know, has been struggling a little bit this year, but they still have him there. So I like the Padres if they can get by the wild card little round there. I have a theory with wild card teams that they get rolling a little bit, and I think that could be the case for the Padres. So we'll see.
So as I'm saying this, apparently in Miami right now, the Padres are playing the Marlins. Miguel Rojas hit a double off the wall to Jurickson Profar. I'm not even BSing right now. I just saw this. And Jurickson Profar started waving Miguel to try and dared him to take third. And Miguel Rojas ended up taking third. And so at the end of the inning, Soto and Machado are yelling at Profar right now. So
I'll have to watch that.
Oh my God! Here, I'll send it to you guys real quick. But yeah, that's happening right now.
That's like something you would do in like when you're like 12. Hey, yeah, go ahead, run! I'll throw you out. No, you idiot! Give me the ball.
Yeah. I don't know why he did that, but yeah, that's stupid.
Hanging around Fernando Tatis too much.
Yeah, right. Josh, what do you think?
I mean, they're good. They're good. Can't say they're not. I think not having Tatis is actually good for the team. As weird as that may sound, I kind of have a feeling, I have no evidence to back this up, that it might be a locker room cancer. If you look at what happened last year when he came back, they fell apart. If he stays on the lineup and they make a deep run, this would go back to what I said earlier at the opening of the show, that he could be gone before the start of next season or at the deadline next year, see what they can get for him. But the Pods are good, man. They're a good baseball team. They're a lot of fun to watch. They got a lot of talent. Obviously, the acquisition of Soto was huge, and Bell. They're a stacked team. Now, do I get 2 thumbs up for them? No. I get them like right in the middle, especially with the way they've played since the deadline. They're not getting the job done. And with that much money on the roster, you gotta win ball games. Gotta win ball games, and they're not doing that right now, unfortunately. So I'm sure they've won some recently. Like they're 4-6 in their last 10.
Yeah.
I mean, so that makes it hard for me to give them 2 thumbs up.
Tyler?
The Padres are the toughest team, I feel like, in the whole NL to judge. Like, I give them a big thumbs down, but since they traded for Soto, it's like, okay, you did your job to get yourself back into it, and then the Tatis thing happens. Based on how Soto's like what you just told me about this Profar thing, I'm just giving the reins to Soto. I'm saying, Soto, you're our guy. You're the leader in the clubhouse. You're the guy. You're the best hitter we have. You're patient. You draw walks. You got professional at bats. I'm just letting Soto do his thing. The pitching staff is talented. It just doesn't. The numbers don't back up how talented it is. They all have previous success, so they're hard to count out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're not living up to expectations. I think they'll find that second, or I think there's 3 wild card teams. That's the thing that we don't know yet, but. I think they'll make the wild card, and I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're they seem like they're either the hit or miss, and they played the Dodgers and got swept right after they had that huge trade deadline, which included Brandon Drury, who was a very underrated player in that entire trade deadline. So yeah, it's just weird. Let's move on to the Braves. 251 batting average, 9th in the league. 315 on base, which is 13th. 759 OPS, which is 3rd. 363 ERA, which is 7th. Or I don't even know. I don't have the number. 10th. I'm sorry. 123 WHIP, which is also 10th. Player I wanted to highlight, Max Fried. 260 ERA, 161 ERA plus, 245 FIP, and a 107 WHIP. Braves, I'm giving them a middle just because they started off so horrible. And they were just they had the same problem that they did last year, and then they ended up winning the World Series. This team seems more complete. But yeah, just because of that first half, first 2 months, I kind of give them a little bit of a middle. Josh?
I would agree. I would have agreed with you probably 2.5 months ago, but I have to give them a thumbs up. With all the drama they had in the offseason, with all the drama they had at the beginning of the season, this team has pulled it together. They look like they are ready to make a deep run. They are arguably, I'm not saying this is my 100% opinion, but arguably, they're one of the most complete teams in baseball right now, top to bottom. When you look at pitching, starting pitching to bullpen, when you look at defense, when you look at offense, this team is a very, very well-rounded team. And I mean, they're good. They're a good ball club. And it looks like they want to defend their title.
Yeah. Daren?
Yeah, that's the thing with them. I don't know. I don't know. The thing with the Braves too, to me though, is like I don't trust teams to go back to back very often. I have a theory more on that part of it more than anything else. I love Max Fried. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the whole entire game. I think he's awesome. And I love the thing with the Braves though is I just don't trust the starting pitching this year like it was last year. I felt like last year they got a lot of magic going on in the postseason. And I have a hard time seeing that happen again with it. I like Olsen a little bit, but he strikes out a little bit too much for me, especially as an A's fan. I saw that a little bit, and they hit so many home runs, guys. That's the thing. I'm somebody that kind of bases things. I know I shouldn't year to year, but they just hit so many jacks last year in the postseason. I'm like, can they really hit this many again in the postseason? But we'll see. I like them. They're the third seed for a reason, record wise, but I'm not as high as their 70-46 record says.
Tyler?
I love the Braves. I mean, they have 9 guys with 10-plus home runs and a guy with the least amount, Ronald Acuna, who's their best player, and it's not even close. He might be the best player in baseball. Their pitching, their bullpen worries me a little bit. The starting pitching with Fried and Morton's kind of underperforming. And they have the experience. They've been there. Ozuna is going to be there for the postseason this year. Whether he should even be in baseball is another question. But Strider as a rookie. Strider has all the talent. Are his numbers number one? But no, he could go a game and shut a team out for 7 and 8 innings. Yeah. So I like the Braves. We'll get into the Dodgers later, but I like the Braves. We got an Astros on Monday. Or Friday. But I like the Braves a lot. I think they're a thumbs up. The way they maintained without Acuna. And, I mean, they won a World Series, and then they stayed relevant in this season without him. So, the Braves, I give a thumbs up.
He's a spark plug, that's for sure. And, he missed like a month of the season?
2 months.
He's played 80 games.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. That's kind of the thing. So, sorry.
And then they have guys like Dansby Swanson, just the guys who are steady, who seem to like just play their role. Like they're there every day. You don't notice them. Maybe they'll make a couple All-Star games. So yeah.
Well, yeah, because you forget about Dansby Swanson and Austin Riley. Austin Riley, he's top 5 MVP votes right now, or favorites to win MVP. So that's really cool. So yeah, the Braves. I don't know if I can question them. I don't think they're going to go back to back. Same as Daren says, like you have to be a really special team in order to go back to back like that. So, but I don't even remember the Toronto Blue Jays being that great. So, but I'm sure they were that great. But anyways, New York Mets, 75 and 40, 259 batting average, which is 4th, 330 on base, which is 4th, 739 OPS, which is 7th, 345 ERA, which is 5th, and a 118 WHIP, which is also 5th. Player I wanted to highlight was Brandon Nimmo, 265 batting average, 350 on base, 765 OPS, and a 117 OPS plus. I give them a thumbs up. I thought that another notorious thing I said was I thought Buck Showalter was going to kind of drive them into the ground, and the Mets were kind of going to try and screw them over. So, screw themselves over, I should say. But they've been consistent, and they were really good without Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom, who is the best pitcher in baseball right now. And his last, 2 starts has proven that he's still the best pitcher in baseball right now. I give him a huge thumbs up. I thought they were going to be like kind of a smokescreen, like, all these moves that they made, getting Mark Hanna, who's a very underrated player. I think not enough people talk about Mark Hanna. Yeah, I know. I loved when he became a free agent. I wanted the Cardinals to get him too. But anyways, big thumbs up. Good job, Mets. Daren.
I'm excited. The Mets are, to me, my favorite. That's the team I'm kind of jumped on the bandwagon this year, right? I'm an A's fan, so that's the team I jumped on at the very beginning this year. DeGrom's my favorite player in Major League Baseball to watch, so it was very disappointing that he was out. But I love the move they got with Scherzer at the beginning. I just feel like the Mets have. I just feel like they're the. I like the Dodgers team, but there's something the Mets have this year, which the ability to throw Scherzer and DeGrom out there in the postseason it's different than most any other team can throw out there, and so just that factor alone, and then with Diaz being amazing this year, just having an unreal year, and then you look at Pete Alonso, who's back, right, 3rd year he's back again, having an awesome year. And then they got Marte, who I loved from the A's. I've always loved him when he was on the Pirates. I'm sure you guys saw him plenty when he was with the Pirates there. He's a beast of a player. What's he have, like 2% body fat? Unreal, the guy. I need to get on his diet plan immediately. And then, and then Lindor's finally back a little bit, right? He had that crappy year last year, and he's kind of back a little bit. So, I mean, I might as well be a Mets fan this year, Logan. That's the deal. I am on the Mets bandwagon. I am all in on them this year. So that's the team I'm pulling for, and that's the team I think is ready to win it this year.
So that's curious. So instead of following Matt Olson to the Braves or Matt Chapman to the Blue Jays, you followed Mark Hanna to the Mets.
Well, and Chris Bassett.
And Bassett, Bassett.
This is a DeGrom thing.
I love DeGrom.
DeGrom, yeah.
He's won me a lot of money in fantasy.
He loved Kershaw, and Kershaw was the best pitcher in the league.
Yeah. I like Kershaw when he was on the Dodgers too. That's true. But DeGrom is nasty. He's a different level. And the fact that they have Scherzer with him is different, Josh, to me, than they've had before. Like that to me is the difference. They have these guys they have 2 guys now. And then I even kind of like Bassett, we mentioned, that even Carrasco, like they have more pitching than they've ever had before.
I thought Carrasco was going to be dead weight, but he's actually been doing pretty well this season.
He was, other than tonight. He's been pretty good.
Did he blow it up tonight?
Yeah, he's on my fantasy. It wasn't a good thing, but he's been good this year. Yeah, he's been good.
Yeah,
I like him.
Yeah. Tyler, you want to shit on the Mets a little bit?
No. As far as I was a year early on the Mets. I thought the Mets were going to be great last year, but I thought Syndergaard would do the Scherzer role. I'm a huge Lindor fan. I love watching Lindor play baseball from when he was on the Indians, now the Guardians. I wanted the Giants to go get him, and I got a lot of shit when I was like, why didn't the Giants? Because the Giants, once again, Mike Yastrzemski being your best player is unacceptable.
Yeah.
And so I wanted him to go get Lindor. He fits perfect in that ballpark, and they didn't. And he had a shitty year, so I had to eat a lot of crow.
Yeah.
And now he's doing what he's doing. And then the Mets with Edwin Diaz, like you mentioned, just having some ridiculous year. And then they're getting DeGrom back at the perfect time. They seem very scary. Big thumbs up.
In Lindor's defense, real quick, before we get to Josh, who's, I don't know what he's doing. I wanted to
slap that.
It's hard to go from like Cleveland, where you have you have consistent fans, but it's not nearly as big as the Mets, and so there's a lot more pressure to go on the Mets than go from the Indians to the Mets. Like it's going from the Rangers to the Yankees. I mean, it's a different ballpark right there, literally and metaphorically. So that's why I kind of give last year a wash for Lindor, in my opinion. But Josh.
And I also think that bringing in the Javi Baez thing was a terrible fit for New York.
Yeah.
Josh Daren.
Yeah, Javier Baez has been kind of
the worst player in
everything.
Baseball. Almost.
Yeah, basically. Josh.
So, because we were talking about since we were talking about Atlanta a minute ago, and now we're talking about the Mets, I'm sitting there watching MLB Central, which is why I'm gawking at what's going on. The Mets are just getting absolutely destroyed by Atlanta right now, 13-1 in the 7th. The pitcher, Carrasco, got pulled after 3 innings or whatever. He was not good tonight. But Atlanta's just showing how good they are, beating up on the Mets like they are tonight. One guy we forgot to mention about Atlanta, not to backtrack for too long, but that center fielder they brought up from Double-A, and he's just been a star.
Harris.
Harris. He's just been phenomenal the whole time. If we did mention him and I missed you, I apologize, but I didn't remember hearing that name come up in the conversation. But when it comes to the Mets are just stacked on paper. They should go to the World Series. It should be a Subway Series. But the Mets have a habit of falling apart and breaking loose. Tire just kind of goes off from time to time. So we'll see what happens. I give him a thumb way up, 2 thumbs way up, especially for everything they did without Scherzer and DeGrom early in the season. I mean, you guys covered it pretty freaking well, so there's not a whole lot more I can say. With Lindor and everything else. I mean, the Mets are good. They're just a good team. Horrible jerseys, horrible colors, but they're a good team.
See, I low-key like the Mets pinstripe jersey, the white pinstripe jersey.
I like that one. I don't like anything else.
Okay, I'll give you all that. The white pinstripe with that's my favorite. One of my
They
favorites.
stole the Giants and Dodgers jersey and mixed it together.
I hate the Dodgers jerseys. They're boring.
Do you really?
I think the Dodgers jerseys are boring.
Fair enough. I hate the Dodgers in general, so I'm all for anything about the Dodgers.
I mean, I don't like San Francisco Giants, but I think the jerseys are better than the Dodgers.
I like the orange Giants.
We'll get into them later.
I like the orange Giants jerseys, like with the big G.
Oh yeah,
The City Connect.
No, not their City Connect. Their
it's
like a throwback ish.
Yeah, it's their '80s one. Yeah, it's a good call.
I'll have to go look it up.
But the new,
they're like the acid ones from the Orioles and
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
exactly what it's like.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. So the Mets, I like their new jerseys more than their old stuff. Their old stuff was shit. But anyways, LA Dodgers 79. They are the best record in baseball. 79-34, 261 batting average, which is third in all baseball. 330 on base, which is second. 788 OPS, which is first. 290 ERA, which is first. 107 for WHIP, which is first. Player I wanted to highlight, I always highlight him when I can, Will Smith. 277 batting average, 364 on base. I got you, Josh. 847 OPS and a 133 OPS plus. on the season. I think he's so overshadowed by the Freddie Freemans, the Mookie Betts, even Gavin Lux. I think is overshadowed too. And I wanted to talk about him, but I didn't.
You didn't even bring up your favorite player.
Oh, you knew.
Yeah, I know. So I kept waiting for it.
Trey Turner, yes. Trey Turner, of course. I'm trying to. He's not that good. I think the Dodgers need to get rid of him. Honestly, they shouldn't even try to re-sign him for next season. I need to talk about Trey Turner more. It's been a lot of Juan Soto this last month, and so I need to get back on him because he's amazing. Anyways, Dodgers, Daren.
Dodgers, awesome. I got to see them play. What was it, 2 Mondays ago in person? Their lineup it's just different level than anybody else's. Their first 3 hitters are stupid. When you can throw Betts, Turner, and Freeman out there, and then you're like throwing Will Smith is underrated. He's a beast. He's been a beast for 3 years. People just need to wake up. He's been good. Muncy is having one of the worst seasons anybody that plays every day can have, but the man knows how to walk. He can get on base. He still gets on base with it. Gavin Lux, rookie guy coming up. He's starting to hit better. And then you have Bellinger, who was an MVP a few years ago, batting 8th for you.
A 60-game season.
My point is not a bad deal over there if he's batting 8th. Don't get all frustrated. Get your panties in a bunch over there. Relax. Yeah, he's in there.
I don't forget Game 5. I can't forget it.
He's batting 8th over there. And so I just feel like – and then the Dodgers, they even have guys that have been out this year pitching-wise, and their depth is still pretty unreal. They're as deep as it gets. The Mets, I feel like, have the pitching talent to beat their offense. So to me, that's what I want to see, the Dodgers Mets in the championship game. That's what I'm looking forward
to. Tyler?
Oh, fucking Dodgers! I don't want to say anything good about them. They're loaded. I think they're the class of the whole MLB. I think they really are. With Trey, they're like you said, their lineup's loaded. Will Smith, people think of him as a hitting catcher. He's the 5th best defensive catcher in that MLB this year. They're pitching with Bueller, Urias. Who's the guy who's having Anderson?
Tyler Anderson.
And then they have that reliever who they didn't just bring up, but they're starting to use him in a more prominent role. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think the Dodgers just Turner, Betts, and Freeman at the top of your order. They don't just hit for power. They're not they give you base hits also. Like they keep things going. It's not
they're freaking fast. They do stuff on
they all move. It's not a boomer bust thing. I am very envious.
You're jealous.
We were up 2-1 in the ALDS last year, and we fucking kicked it. I hate the Dodgers. But I think they're the favorites to win it all.
Josh, you got anything?
Well, the Dodgers. I mean, they should be the best team in baseball. They spend some of the most money. On paper, they're easily the best team in the game. On paper, they're better than the Yankees, and they're better than the Astros, and they're better than the Mets on paper. I have no surprise in this. I'm actually a little surprised they are not over 80 wins and like 85 already. But, they're so good. They're ridiculously good. They are who you're going to have to go through to get to the World Series in the NL. The big news that dropped today was that Bueller is going to be having season-ending surgery and he will not play this year.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what effect that has. I don't think it will have any because they know what they're doing. Been doing all season without him. So this does just show that if they end up having to pitch a little bit more than what they planned on in the back half of the season, they may run out of gas. I don't see that happening. I don't. But the Dodgers are make me sick how good they are. But it is what it is. It's baseball. There's no cap, no floor. Big cities are going to spend lots and lots of money.
Yep.
And they don't even have Dustin May this year. That's like another guy who throws 100 who's nasty.
He's supposed to be coming back soon, right?
I thought he was out for the year.
Is he out for the year again?
I think so. I think he got hurt last year and was out. Maybe not.
I knew he had Tommy John surgery and was out, but I thought he was coming back soon. I thought he started throwing, but I may be wrong. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's thumbs up. I would say like it's medium just because they're doing the same thing that we thought they would do. Like they're not necessarily exceeding, but I mean, they're like what we expected them to do is be the best team in baseball, and they are. So it's kind of like, okay,
they are who we thought they are.
Hey, Logan, do you guys remember Dave Roberts on the Dan Patrick Show saying that before the season started? He's like, we should win the World Series. I mean, that's he said that before the season started. So if that's not confidence in your team, then that's not. Yeah, that's what he said.
Well, it's not even confidence. It's like when you get Freddie Freeman coming off of an MVP season, not last year, but 2020.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Like you said. I mean, he's one of the best first basemen out there. Second baseman, Gavin Lux, who's been one of their top, who was one of their top prospects for the longest time. They got rid of Corey Seager because they wanted to make room for Gavin Lux. They have Trey Turner, who, until I stupidly made him, he was one of the most underrated shortstops of all time. Or not of all time, in Major League Baseball. Third baseman Justin Turner. I mean, he's having a down year.
I didn't even mention him.
And like, but he's still a threat. I mean, he's still a top 10 or top 5 third baseman. And then their outfield, Mookie Betts. I mean, Will Smith. Their Cody Bellinger, who has been kind of slowly getting back up there, and then Chris Taylor, who's a great utility guy. I mean, it's just up and down everywhere. Clayton Kershaw, I know he's injured now, but he's been having a great season, and so it's just like you can't. You can't. There's like no ceiling to this team, and so they should be expected to win the World Series, especially with the team that they have every year. And if they don't win a World Series this year, I think that Dave Roberts is gone actually. So just because. Yeah, I honestly like it has because you win one World Series and he was
in 60 games.
Yeah, in 60 games, and it's like an asterisk World Series, and that's ever since 2017. And yeah, you can say that the Astros cheated, but I mean, how much did that really affect the Dodgers thing? So I don't know, but so I mean, but yeah, they're the best team right now, and they'll probably not get past the NLDS because of something weird. But anyways, so that concludes all of our things. So before we go, I want to ask, is there any quick predictions that you guys want to say like about the rest of the season before we go? Or
I got Dodgers Astros in the World Series, a repeat of the Trash Can series.
Yeah,
I just think they're the two class teams in the. I think the Mets could challenge the Dodgers, but I don't think the Yankees are as good as people think they are.
Well, yeah, the Yankees are just stupid right now. They're not playing in August. Apparently, they're deciding.
Who ain't their last 10?
Yeah, they don't care about August. So
they've been pretty bad. I'm with Tyler. I kind of like the idea. I was going to ask you guys earlier, but I like what would be the most exciting matchup from out of all the playoff series, anything possible. Right?
Reds and Cubs.
Oh gosh, talk about falling asleep. Yeah, we got. I was thinking it would be, to me, Mets and the Dodgers. That would be the best. That would be the one I would sign me up for the most. Even more so than Yankees Astros. That would be my prediction.
Yeah. Oh, Yankees Astros. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
They
Josh.
Can't be in the World Series, but they can
be
in the ALCS.
But like just
I want a Goliath and I want an underdog. That's what I want to happen. I either want it to be like Yankees or Astros against like either the Cardinals or the Padres. I don't care what any format you make up there. I want
the Padres
a giant.
Oh, I was going to ask if the Padres are technically an underdog, right? I mean, even though they're a wild
card, they're not division winner.
I would say the Cardinals are the more underdog just because they're in such a shitty division. But anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to argue that, but I mean, I like that story for baseball. The underrated team, the team who came out of nowhere and played the game and went on a run. But if I had to say, if I'm going to make a solid prediction, I'd have to go Astros and Dodgers. As much as it would pay me, I probably wouldn't even watch it at that point, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
we want you to watch, Josh. Pick
the
Cardinals then, damn it. Pick the Cardinals. We want you to watch.
I would want to I like the two best teams in baseball matching up. So Astros and Dodgers would obviously be interesting for me. I mean, honestly, like a Yankees Cardinals, like I said, I love the novelty of Yankees facing the Cardinals, two awesome teams, the two best teams in Major League history, first going head to head. I know that sounds homerish, but I honestly, this is the most Homer fan I am. I've been this whole season. So, but yeah, I'm just excited. The playoffs are going to be awesome this year. And I think a lot of teams are going to start getting hot in October. So, also one more thing. So the schedule came out, and the World Series starts on October 28th.
Dang.
And then Game 7 would be on November 5th. Is it me, or does it drive it drives me nuts having the World Series in November? I don't know why. It just weirds me out. I don't like that. I get, there's Mr. November with Derek Jeter, but I like it ending in October. I don't know why.
You're sounding like the old school guy right now.
It just sounds, it's so weird to me. I don't know why. I don't like it.
Look, I'm laughing because Tyler knows this is where I'm this could be a 10-hour podcast. The way I want to go off on this. I want to go, I'm with you on this. I think they should still play day games for World Series once in a while. It pisses me off. They only do night games because here's the deal with that stuff. You guys live in Central Time Zone, right? Both of you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I live on the West Coast, and I get all my World Series games starting at 5 o'clock. I can't even imagine being you guys staying up till 12:10 in the 10th inning of a game. I can't even imagine that. So I don't know why baseball starts it so late. I know when a West Coast team it would suck if a West Coast team started at 4 o'clock because I'd be working. So I get that point of it. But I mean, I don't get how if you're starting a game at 8 o'clock Eastern time, I don't know how the hell you want to stay up that late. I literally have no idea.
If the East went into the World Series, then if they had a day game at 12 o'clock, you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch.
Yeah, for the NBC Peacock games, they start at 9 o'clock in the morning out here. So I'm oh, geez,
it's ridiculous.
Darren, you were throwing a fit about a 12:30 Christmas Day basketball game.
Well, Christmas Day is different. Anyways, I'm with you on that, Logan.
Yeah, Josh, you looked like you were about to throw something at me. So
I agree with you on this one. I think baseball should be over by Halloween.
Yeah.
At the latest. Yeah. But that's what happens when you add and expand the playoffs. You got more games that have to be played. Now, I say that, and then you look at this year. The top two teams in each league get a bye, and then the worst division winner and then the three wildcard teams all play it out. The cool thing, the way they set this up, though, is it's over by Sunday. It starts on Friday. It's over by Sunday. That is what it is. You move on to the next series. It's 3 games back-to-back days. You know what? There's nothing we can do about it. All we can do is sit back and enjoy it. Yeah. I guess we get that extra week of baseball during football and hockey season, and basketball's even started at that point. So if you're a sports fan, it's a great time of year.
Yeah. It's not something I want changed. It's just why November? And maybe that's it. It bleeds into football season and hockey season too much. And it's just okay, now we have 3 sports. We go from having just one sport, which is baseball. Now we have all the sports going on at the same time, which is cool sometimes, but it's a lot. It's an overload for me. But anyways, that concludes this show. Tyler, Daren, thanks for coming on. Sorry we went a little long, about 2.5 hours. Josh needs to go to bed. He's an old man. Daren, Tyler, can you guys give us a plug real quick for your show?
This is where Daren takes it from there.
Yeah, that's what I'll take the stuff here. Yeah, first of all, thanks for having us both on this time for it. Like I said, you guys were up late. Pacific time here. It's only 8:30, baby. We're not even in party time yet, so we're still good here on a Monday night over here. So appreciate you guys. Let me and Tyler come on. We were just talking about you guys. You obviously heard Logan what we said on our podcast, but we did talk between that as well, and we just kind of I enjoyed the chance to be able to talk baseball with you guys on a deeper level than just like, hey, for a few minutes. So just I know it's a long podcast here, 2.5 hours, but like for me, like I love baseball. So like being able to have to do that stuff. And so I appreciate you guys doing this. Variety Sports Network. Check us out on Fat Boy Fadeaway Sunday mornings. That's when we'll be out there. So again, check us out, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sunday mornings. But appreciate you guys letting us jump on the 7th inning stretch again.
Yeah, you guys are welcome anytime. And Tyler, I know you're not a baseball fan, as Daren was saying on the show.
Baseball is my favorite. I love baseball.
That was another thing I laughed at. You were like, you don't think I'd like to talk about baseball?
It gets all personal, Logan. It gets personal. It gets sensitive around it.
You know what? We need to switch sides around here. Like listen. I swear this is what it's like. I swear, Daren and I are talking, and like I swear you guys are the same. It seems like. But anyways, yeah. Josh, do you have any words of wisdom you want to say before we go?
No, I just want to thank Daren and Tyler for taking time out of their evening to join us. Again, you guys are welcome anytime. You guys are a great conversation. I just hope everybody has a great week. I know Monday was a long day for me too. Hope you all have a great week. Don't let anything bother you. If something's bothering you, get over it, move on to the next day. Be thankful you got another day to live. Enjoy the time with your families and watch baseball.
Okay. Good job. That wasn't as inspiring, but you need to work on your Hallmark stuff, okay? Anyways.
I was very impressed. I loved it. I hate people who whine. Move on to the next day. You still living. I appreciate that sentiment. Thank you.
But anyways, thanks for watching. By the way, everyone, we need to stop blaming Fernando Tatis Jr. for the PEDs. He was taking it because he got a fungus from a haircut.
From a haircut.
Yeah. Okay, that's the first. Anyways, thanks for watching. Watch us on Wednesday with Cardinals Chronicles, Friday with 7th inning stretch. I'm not doing that. So in the meantime, live long and watch some damn baseball. Josh, hit that sick beat. Bitch.